Sometimes in life we carry burdens that were never meant for our shoulders. We spend our days trying to fix people who refuse to change, solving problems that were never ours to solve, and holding on to situations that quietly steal our peace. We believe that if we try harder, care deeper, or sacrifice more, somehow everything will fall into place. But there comes a moment in every person's journey when they must face a powerful truth. Not everything in this world is ours to control. There is a quiet strength in learning to let go, not the kind of letting go that comes from weakness, but the kind that rises from wisdom, the kind that understands that your peace is too precious to be held hostage by the actions, choices, and chaos of others. Detachment is not about becoming cold or uncaring. It is about protecting the sacred space within your heart, where your joy, your dignity, and your purpose live. Today, we will explore the gentle yet powerful art of detaching from people, problems, and situations that lie beyond your control. Because the moment you stop trying to carry what was never yours, you finally discover the freedom to carry what truly is your life, your peace, and your power. There is a quiet moment in life when a person begins to understand that holding on too tightly can become its own kind of suffering. We spend so much of our time trying to guide every outcome, trying to shape every person, trying to protect every plan we have carefully built in our minds. We believe that if we just hold on a little longer and push a little harder, we can bend life into the shape we want. But life has a way of reminding us that not everything is ours to command, and not everything is ours to carry. Many people confuse letting go with giving up, but the two are not the same. Giving up is born from exhaustion and defeat, but letting go is born from wisdom. It is the moment when you realize that your peace is far too valuable to be sacrificed in a battle you were never meant to fight. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is the quiet declaration that you will no longer allow the storms of others to live inside your heart. There will always be people who misunderstand you, situations that refuse to improve, and problems that do not disappear no matter how much energy you pour into them. For a long time, we convince ourselves that it is our responsibility to fix them all. We believe that if we care enough, love enough, or sacrifice enough, we can change what stands before us. But life gently teaches us that every person must walk their own path, every mind must reach its own understanding, and every soul must face its own lessons. When you begin to release the need to control everything, something remarkable happens inside you. Your mind becomes lighter, your heart begins to breathe again. The constant tension of trying to manage every outcome slowly fades away. You begin to realize that peace was never hiding somewhere far away. It was simply waiting for you to loosen your grip on things that were never truly yours. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop carrying what does not belong to you. You can still wish people well without allowing their chaos to enter your spirit. You can still face life's challenges without allowing them to steal your sense of calm. The freedom comes from understanding that your role in this world is not to control every story, but to live your own with courage and grace. And when you finally learn this gentle truth, life begins to feel different. You stop chasing every conflict and stop wrestling with every problem that appears before you. Instead, you learn to stand firmly in your own peace. You learn to give your energy only to the things that help you grow, the things that nourish your spirit, and the things that lead you forward. That is the quiet freedom of letting go. It is not loud, and it does not arrive with applause. It arrives softly, like a deep breath after a long struggle. And in that breath, you discover something powerful. The moment you release the need to control everything, you finally gain control over the one thing that truly matters, the peace within yourself. There comes a moment in life when the heart grows tired of arguing with reality. We spend so much time wishing things were different. We wish people would understand us better, treat us better, love us better. We wish certain moments had never happened and certain problems had never appeared in our lives. In our minds, we paint pictures of how things should be, and when life refuses to match those pictures, we feel frustrated, wounded, and restless. Yet there is a quiet wisdom waiting for us when we finally stop resisting what already exists. Acceptance is not a loud act. It does not arrive with grand announcements or dramatic changes. It enters softly, like a calm understanding that settles within the soul. It is the moment you look at a situation exactly as it is and say to yourself, "This is the truth of this moment." Not the truth you hoped for, not the truth you imagined, but the truth that stands before you right now. And strangely enough, in that honest acknowledgement, a new kind of strength begins to grow. Many people believe that accepting reality means surrendering to it forever, but that is not what acceptance truly means. Acceptance simply means seeing clearly. It means removing the fog of denial and the weight of endless what-ifs. When you accept something for what it is, you stop wasting your energy fighting against facts that will not change. Your mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes steadier, and your spirit becomes free to decide the next step forward. Think of how exhausting it is to argue with reality. When someone shows you who they truly are, but you keep hoping they will suddenly become someone else. When a chapter of life has already closed, but you keep trying to reopen the same door. That struggle creates a quiet storm inside you. It drains your peace, your patience, and your energy. But the moment you accept what is real, that storm begins to settle. Acceptance does not mean you approve of everything that happens. It does not mean the pain disappears or that disappointment suddenly turns into joy. It simply means you stop denying the truth, and in that honesty, you reclaim your power. Because once you see things clearly, you can choose your response with wisdom instead of reacting with frustration. There is a gentle freedom in this understanding. When you accept reality as it stands, you no longer become trapped by endless expectations. You stop trying to force people to change who they are. You stop trying to rewrite moments that have already passed. Instead, you begin to move forward with a deeper awareness of life and of yourself. And in that quiet acceptance, something beautiful happens within you. Your heart becomes less burdened by resistance. Your mind becomes less tangled in disappointment. You begin to understand that peace does not come from controlling every circumstance. Peace comes from meeting life with open eyes and a steady spirit. That is the quiet power of acceptance. It does not make life perfect, but it makes life lighter. It teaches you that even when the world refuses to bend to your wishes, your spirit can still remain unbroken, calm, and strong enough to walk forward with grace. There are moments in life when the bravest thing a person can do is not to move closer, but to step back. We often grow up believing that strength means enduring everything, tolerating everything, and holding on, no matter how heavy the weight becomes. We are taught that walking away is weakness, that distance means failure, that stepping back means we did not try hard enough. But life has a quiet way of teaching us that sometimes the most powerful form of self-respect is knowing when to create space. There are people and situations that slowly drain the spirit. They may not always arrive with loud conflict or obvious harm. Sometimes they appear as constant tension, repeated disappointment, or the quiet feeling that your peace is slipping away little by little. You may try to fix things, explain yourself, and give more patience than you thought you possessed. Yet despite all your effort, nothing truly changes. In those moments, the soul begins to whisper a truth that the mind often resists. Not every connection is meant to be held forever. Stepping back does not mean you stop caring. It simply means you begin caring for yourself as well. For too long, many people place their own well-being at the bottom of their priorities. They continue giving their time, their understanding, and their emotional energy, even when it is not being respected or valued. They remain in spaces that leave them feeling smaller instead of stronger. But there comes a time when wisdom gently reminds you that your peace deserves protection. Creating distance can feel uncomfortable at first. It may feel unfamiliar, even painful. When you have spent so long trying to hold everything together, stepping back can feel like breaking something apart. But distance has a quiet healing power. It allows the heart to breathe again. It allows the mind to see things more clearly. When you step away from constant noise and conflict, you begin to remember who you are without the weight of those pressures. Sometimes stepping back is not about leaving a place or ending a relationship completely. Sometimes it is simply about refusing to carry what does not belong to you anymore. It is choosing not to argue every point, not to involve yourself in every problem, not to chase every person who walks away. It is understanding that your role in life is not to fix every broken situation you encounter. There is dignity in knowing your limits. There is wisdom in recognizing that you cannot grow in an environment that constantly pulls you backward. When you step back from what harms your peace, you are not running away. You are choosing a healthier path for your spirit. And with time, you begin to see that distance is not emptiness. It is space, space for clarity, space for healing, and space for the kind of life that nurtures your strength instead of diminishing it. In that space, your self-respect begins to grow stronger than your fear of letting go. The courage to step back is quiet, but it is powerful. It is the moment when you stop sacrificing your inner peace to maintain situations that no longer honor your worth. And when you take that step back with dignity, you do not lose yourself. You finally return to yourself, standing taller, calmer, and far more aware of the value of your own peace. There is a quiet turning point in every person's life when they begin to understand a simple but powerful truth. The world is full of things we cannot control. We cannot control how others think about us. We cannot control every event that enters our lives. We cannot control the choices people make, the words they speak, or the paths they decide to walk. Yet for much of our lives, we exhaust ourselves trying to do exactly that. We try to manage every reaction, influence every outcome, and prevent every disappointment. And in that endless effort, we slowly lose our peace. But wisdom begins the moment we ask a different question. Instead of asking, how can I control everything around me? We begin asking, what is truly within my control? And when we look closely, the answer is both humbling and empowering. The one thing that always remains within our reach is the way we respond to life. You may not control the storm, but you can decide how you stand in the rain. You may not control the opinions of others, but you can decide how much power those opinions hold over your heart. The world may place challenges in your path, but it cannot dictate the courage you bring to face them. Your thoughts, your attitude, and your response are the quiet forces that shape the direction of your life. Many people give away this power without realizing it. They allow the behavior of others to determine their mood, their confidence, and even their sense of worth. A careless word can ruin their entire day. A moment of rejection can make them question their value. Slowly, their emotional world becomes controlled by circumstances beyond their reach. But the moment you recognize your power over your own response, everything begins to change. Your thoughts are like seeds planted in the soil of your mind. If you fill that soil with bitterness, resentment, and endless worry, those are the things that will grow. But if you choose patience, resilience, and understanding, your inner world begins to strengthen in ways no external situation can easily shake. This is not about pretending life is always easy. It is about choosing how you carry yourself through difficulty. When someone treats you unfairly, you cannot always control their actions, but you can control whether you allow their behavior to poison your spirit. When life takes an unexpected turn, you cannot always change the event itself, but you can decide whether you will face it with despair or with determination. These choices may seem small in the moment, yet they shape the path of your entire life. The truth is, control over your own mind and response is a deeper power than controlling any external situation. External control is fragile and temporary, but inner control creates stability that cannot easily be taken away. When you master your response, you stop being a prisoner of circumstances, and slowly a sense of calm begins to grow within you. You no longer chase the impossible task of managing everything around you. Instead, you stand firmly in the one place where your true authority lives, within your own mind, your own actions, and your own direction. When you understand what you truly control, life becomes less about fighting every battle and more about walking your path with clarity. And in that clarity, you discover a powerful freedom. The world may shape your experiences, but you still shape the person you choose to become. Pain has a way of entering our lives uninvited. It arrives through disappointment, betrayal, loss, or the quiet breaking of something we once believed would last forever. In those moments, it can feel as though life has placed a heavy weight upon the heart. We begin to question why certain things had to happen, why certain people had to change, and why certain dreams had to fall apart. Pain, in its first moments, rarely feels like a teacher. It feels like a storm that shakes everything we once felt certain about. Yet time has a gentle way of revealing something deeper. Many of the strongest, wisest, and most compassionate people you will ever meet were not shaped by comfort alone. They were shaped by the difficult seasons of life. The moments that once felt unbearable slowly became the moments that taught them who they truly were. Pain, though unwelcome, has a strange ability to open our eyes in ways comfort never could. When everything in life is smooth and predictable, we often move through our days without questioning much about ourselves. We do not examine our strength because we have not been asked to use it. We do not explore the depth of our resilience because life has not tested it yet. But when hardship enters our story, it begins to uncover parts of us we did not know existed. Courage appears where fear once lived. Patience grows where frustration once ruled. Wisdom begins to rise from experiences we once wished had never happened. Turning pain into growth does not mean pretending that suffering is pleasant. It does not mean ignoring the sadness or denying the hurt that certain experiences bring. Every emotion deserves to be acknowledged honestly. Grief, disappointment, and frustration are natural parts of being human. But growth begins when we refuse to allow pain to be the final chapter of our story. Instead of asking only, "Why did this happen to me?" a new question begins to emerge. What can this experience teach me? That single shift in perspective can slowly transform pain into something meaningful. A betrayal may teach you the value of stronger boundaries. A failure may teach you resilience and determination. A difficult relationship may teach you the importance of self-respect and emotional clarity. Life's most difficult lessons often arrive disguised as painful experiences. At first, we only see the loss or the struggle, but with time and reflection, those same experiences can become stepping stones toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. They shape our judgment, refine our character, and strengthen our ability to face the future with greater awareness. When you begin to view pain as a teacher rather than only as an enemy, something powerful happens inside you. The wounds of the past no longer define you in the same way. Instead, they become part of the foundation that supports your strength. The struggles you once wished to erase begin to reveal the growth they quietly created within you. And one day, you may look back at a moment that once brought tears to your eyes and realize that it also brought wisdom to your soul. The hardship that once felt like an ending became the beginning of a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Pain may visit every life, but it does not have to control the direction of your journey. When you allow it to shape your understanding rather than harden your heart, it becomes something more than suffering. It becomes a turning point, guiding you toward a deeper strength and a clearer understanding of who you are meant to become. There is a great deal of noise in the world, voices arguing, opinions clashing, expectations pulling us in different directions. Every day we are surrounded by situations that invite us into conflict, worry, and emotional storms. Someone says something hurtful, someone misunderstands our intentions, or circumstances unfold in ways we never expected. In those moments, chaos seems to stand at the door of our minds, asking for permission to enter. And too often, without realizing it, we open that door. Many people spend their lives reacting to everything around them. If someone is angry, they become angry. If someone criticizes them, they carry that criticism like a stone in their heart. If life grows uncertain, their thoughts become tangled with fear and endless worry. Slowly, their inner world begins to mirror the chaos that surrounds them. The outside noise becomes the inside noise, and peace begins to feel like a distant memory. But there is another way to live. There is a quiet strength in learning that not every storm deserves your attention. Not every argument requires your voice. Not every misunderstanding must be chased and corrected. Sometimes the greatest act of wisdom is choosing calm when the world expects reaction. Inner peace is not something the world gives you. It is something you create within yourself. It is built through small but powerful decisions. Decisions to pause before reacting, to breathe before speaking, and to step away from situations that exist only to drain your spirit. When you begin to value your peace more than the need to prove a point, something remarkable begins to happen within you. You start to notice how many conflicts lose their power when you refuse to feed them with your energy. Arguments fade when you do not add more anger to them. Drama dissolves when you do not participate in it. The chaos that once seemed overwhelming begins to lose its grip because it no longer finds a place to live inside your mind. This does not mean life will suddenly become perfect or free of challenges. Difficult moments will still appear, and people will still behave in ways you cannot control. But the difference is that you no longer allow every disturbance to shake the foundation of your peace. You begin to understand that calm is not the absence of problems. It is the strength to remain steady even when problems appear. Choosing peace also means being selective about where you place your emotional energy. Some conversations do not deserve your time. Some conflicts do not deserve your attention. Some people thrive on drama, and engaging with them only deepens the noise. When you learn to quietly step away from these situations, you protect the quiet space within your mind where clarity and strength grow. There is a quiet dignity in a person who refuses to be pulled into every storm. They listen more carefully, react more thoughtfully, and move through life with a calm presence that others can feel. Their peace does not come from controlling the world around them. It comes from mastering the world within them. And when you begin to choose inner peace over outer chaos, life becomes lighter. Your thoughts become clearer. Your heart becomes calmer. You realize that while the world may always contain noise and conflict, you still have the power to decide what kind of atmosphere lives inside your own soul. In that decision lies a powerful freedom. The freedom to walk through a noisy world with a quiet mind, a steady heart, and a peace that no amount of chaos can easily disturb. There comes a moment in every life when the past stands behind you like a long shadow. It carries memories of things that did not work out, words that were spoken in anger, and moments when you wished life had unfolded differently. For many people, those memories become chains that quietly hold them in place. They keep looking backward, replaying what happened, wondering what they could have changed. But life does not move in reverse, and the heart cannot grow if it is forever tied to what has already passed. Walking forward requires a certain kind of courage. It asks you to release the need to understand every unanswered question and to accept that some chapters close without perfect explanations. Not every ending arrives with clarity. Some relationships fade without warning. Some dreams dissolve despite your effort and patience. These experiences can leave behind disappointment, but they also carry a lesson that time eventually reveals. Your journey must continue, even when the past refuses to make sense. Grace is the quiet strength that allows you to move forward without bitterness. It is the ability to leave a place or a person without carrying anger in your heart. When you walk with grace, you are not pretending that pain never touched you. Instead, you are choosing not to let that pain shape the way you face the future. You step ahead with dignity, knowing that every experience, good or difficult, has contributed to the person you are becoming. There is something powerful about a person who continues walking even after disappointment, not rushing, not running away, but moving steadily with a calm understanding that life is still unfolding. That kind of strength does not need loud announcements or dramatic gestures. It appears in the quiet decision to begin again, to open a new door, or to trust that there are still meaningful moments waiting ahead. Moving forward also means releasing the burden of carrying what cannot be changed. Some situations will never return to the way they once were. Some people will never become who you hoped they might be. Holding on to those expectations only keeps the past alive in a place where it no longer belongs. But when you gently place those burdens down, your steps become lighter and the path ahead begins to feel possible again. Strength is often misunderstood as the ability to endure endless hardship without pause. But true strength also includes knowing when to close a chapter with quiet dignity. It is understanding that your energy is better spent building what lies ahead rather than trying to repair what time has already taken away. As you move forward, life slowly reveals new landscapes. New lessons appear, new opportunities take shape, and new connections enter your story. None of these moments could fully arrive if your hands were still tightly holding the past. By letting go, you create space for life to continue unfolding in ways you may not yet imagine. And so you walk forward, not because everything was easy, but because your spirit has learned resilience. You walk forward with grace, carrying wisdom instead of regret. You walk forward with strength, trusting that every step ahead brings you closer to a life shaped not by what you lost, but by the courage you discovered within yourself.